Hi, friends. I hope you enjoy this little practice. It is slow moving, still a strong practice, but Tico and I did a very big hike yesterday, and we're both a little tired today, a little stiff, I'm a little achy in my lower back. So, for me, when I'm feeling that way, my yoga is going to do a lot to lengthen out the sides of the lower back, which is where I carry a lot of my tightness after big hikes and the like. So, thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, we're going to begin with 2 blocks and do a little bit of supported breath work. So lie back with 1 block on the low height underneath right around your shoulder blades, and the second block underneath your head at a slightly higher level. And I'm just going to bend my knees and keep my feet planted. That feels really nice and stable for me. You want to have that sense that however you're setting yourself up, that your chest kind of falls open. So there's this sense of creating ease for the breath. And then what we're going to do very simply is create samavriti, or sameness, between the in-breath and the out-breath. And you can do this by doing a slow count to 5 on inhale and a slow count to 5 on exhale. Or you can just simply feel for a sense of balance between the two halves of your breath. It can be a little less structured if that feels more organic. And the sense of a nice supported lift without a lot of effort, with no strain. So the breath feels easeful but open. Eyes are soft, temples are soft. Eyes can be closed or open. Belly is relaxed. And then when you're ready, bring yourself to sit. You can just press with your hands to come to sit. And we're going to sit to do a little bit of seated Nadi Shodhana. Highly recommend grabbing a Kleenex and blowing your nose first. Also, I'm sitting up on a block and coming into Siddhasana, but you could sit in simple cross legs or you could sit in Virasana. Lots of options here, but good idea with Nadi Shodhana to blow your nose first, just in case you got a little runny nose happening or congestion. And take a moment as you drop your hands onto your knees to settle down, to let your hips drop and to feel a nice lift through the chest. Then with your right hand, tuck your middle and index finger into your palm. And you're going to use your middle and index finger to your palm. You're going to use your fourth finger and your pinky on the left side of your nose and your thumb on the right side as levers to close the nostrils. When you're ready, lifting strongly through the chest, drop your chin down and place the hands lightly near your nostrils, not right near the opening, a little higher up, that cartilage piece there. When you're ready, close the right nostril gently and inhale through the left. And then close the left side, open the right, and exhale through the right. Keep the right side open, inhale through the right. Close both briefly. Close the right, open the left, exhale through the left. And that's the pattern. We inhale left, a little pause, and exhale right. Keeping the right open, inhale right, a little pause, and exhale left. As you continue, move at your own pace. You're not necessarily trying to make the breath completely even, but you're bringing with you that sense of samavriti between the inhale and the exhale, because this is a nerve balancing breath. Inhaling left, pause, exhaling right, Inhaling right. Pause. Exhaling left. Keep your chin down. Keep your left arm, left hand relaxed. Maintain a nice strong lift through the trunk. And continue. After your next cycle, release the right hand down, bring the head up for a moment. Pause here with your eyes closed. And then as you're ready, slowly open your eyes and we'll shift, move your block or your blanket if you've got one out of your way and shift onto all fours. Taking a moment to find a nice stable spine. And then beginning to move through cow spine, cat spine. Move at your own pace here, sensing into how your back is feeling. It could be slow, it could be more quick. And then finding neutral spine, side bend, hip and head to the right and hold. Side bend, hip and head to the left and hold. And then begin to go side to side, but leaning a little bit back as you do. So the hips move back toward the heels as you lean into one side and then the other. So for me, this is part of my kind of assessing how things are in the sides of my lower back, which tend to carry a lot of tightness. Come back to center, find a nice neutral spine, then take the right leg straight back. And then take the foot over to the left side, coming onto the ball of the foot, leaning into the right side, look back towards your right heel. So again, sensing into the sides of the body, the right side of the body. Come back to center, the leg rises, and then bring the knee down. Same thing on the second side, left leg reaching straight back. Hold for a moment. And then take the foot over to the right side of your space. Turn to look toward the left heel and find a little bit of extension out through the whole of the left side body, hip all the way to outer shoulder. Come back to center, lower the knee down. And then we'll set up for dog pose, turning the toes under, shifting back, coming into your dog pose. Take a moment to see how things are for you this morning or this afternoon. Moving just a little bit, small micro movements to adjust, to find balance between left and right. To become aware of any tightness in the body, just like as if you're listening in. Where's the tightness this morning or this afternoon? Where's the fatigue? And then step your feet forward to come into standing forward fold. Lifting your chest a little bit, keep the knees bent. And then as you straighten the legs, move the inner thighs back and walk the hands back to move into a deeper forward fold. Again, listening inward to see where's their tightness, what do I need to pay attention to today. That movement to straighten the knees as you draw the inner thighs back is to take any external rotation out of the legs and the hips as you fold. Then lift your chest, walk your hands onto your shins, Ardha Uttanasana. Then hands to your hips as you come to stand, pausing in mountain pose. Taking the right arm up, slide the left hand down the outer leg for standing side bend. Using that bottom hand for a little bit of external support today as you feel into the right side of your body. Coming up and switching sides, right hand slides down as the left arm reaches up and takes you over to the right side. Sweeping back up to center, stand again in mountain pose. And then from mountain pose, step the left foot back to come into a lunge. So definitely after a big hike, I'm always a little tight in the front of the hips. So I'm keeping a little bit of bend in my back knee and taking the tailbone forward before I reach the arms up. You can keep that bend in the knee or you can straighten it depending on how much tightness you feel in the front of the hip on the left side. Then the left hand comes to your head, your right hand rests to the right knee as you take a little side stretch again to your right side. Moving slowly to stay stable, come back to your lunge, and then step the left foot forward, mountain pose. Nice and steady with the gaze, with the breath, and we'll step the right foot back, same thing as you come into this lunge. This is my tighter side, so I absolutely for sure find a little bend as I draw the tailbone forward here. Begin to straighten the knee, stop when your body says stop. Arms reaching up for crescent lunge. Then the left hand rests to the left knee as the right hand comes behind your head and you side bend to your left. Keeping stable and strong with your lower body and then lifting up out of the right hip to find that sense of extension along the right side. Head can move gently back against your hand and then come back to your crescent lunge. Step the right foot forward, mountain pose. Interlace the hands to lift your chest. Go slowly here as you slowly lift your head to turn your gaze up and slowly fold forward into Uttanasana, pausing at the halfway mark to sense. Bending your knees as you fold. Then again, when you go to straighten the legs, if you straighten the legs, move the inner thighs back and up. Let your head hang free, let your arms hang with the weight of the arms without pushing. Then coming slowly back to halfway, slowly to stand. Release your arms, stand mountain pose. And then step your left foot back, but turn the toes out so you can ground the foot and then turn your ribs toward the front for warrior one. Don't let the ribs pop forward. Adjust them back if they tend to. Bring the arms either straight up or into a goalpost position. Keep your gaze steady and your neck neutral. From warrior one, interlace your hands back behind you. Slow lift of the chest, slow lift of the eyes, and then a slow fold forward into humble warrior. Keeping the feet grounded, the legs steady as you let your head release. A slow lift halfway and all the way, arms reaching, warrior one. And step the back foot forward, releasing the arms, stand mountain pose, steady breath, steady gaze. And then the right foot steps back, again turning the toes out to ground the back foot, and then pulling your ribs around to the left and drawing the front ribs back to help secure that flare of the rib cage. Arms reaching up or into a goalpost position for warrior one. Eyes or neck are balanced and neutral. And then reaching the hands slowly behind you, interlace the fingers, draw the arm bones back, a slow lift of the chest, slow lift of the eyes, maintaining steadiness through your lower body, slowly fold forward into humble warrior. And you can kind of pause halfway through if you'd like, before folding all the way. Again, strong grounding through the feet, through the legs, head and neck relaxed. Pulling through the arms, very slowly come up. Releasing the arms back into Warrior One, goalpost or extended up toward the ceiling. And then step the back foot forward, mountain pose again, steady gaze, steady breath. And then we're going to turn, take the feet for Prasarita Padottanasana, feet wide and parallel, hands to the hips, lift your chest, look up. When you fold forward, slide the hands down to catch your outer shins or maybe down by the ankles, taking a moment here to fold into a variation. But while you're here, shifting the hips from side to side. So as you feel that little side shift, should feel into the inner thigh and groins, then come back to the center, extend, and fold again. And hold. Extending the arms straight, lift your chest forward. Take your left hand to the outer right ankle and the right fingertips out in front, and gently draw your nose in toward the right shin. Then taking this into a little more of a twist, walk the left hand out a little bit and turn your chest toward the ceiling, turn your eyes toward the ceiling. Feeling the spine revolve. Don't try to force the hips to be level. Come back to center, walk your way out, lifting your chest. And then taking your right hand to the outer left ankle, left fingertips out in front as you draw your nose in toward the left shin. Then opening into the twist, walk the left hand a little further out to spin your chest and your eyes up toward the ceiling. And then unwinding back to the center. Again, lifting the chest. This time plant your hands. Nice for the wrists. If you can walk the hands back till you feel a nice stretch on the inner wrists. And then come all the way to stand. Step up to the top of your mat, mountain pose, steady breath, steady gaze. And then step your left foot back and both legs straight now. Turn your ribs toward the top of your mat. Lift your chest, begin to fold forward toward Parsvottanasana. Hands can come to the floor or to the blocks. Draw the right hip back. You can stay right there. And then we'll take a little walkabout with the hands over to the right side, maintaining the same position with the legs as you walk your trunk over to the right side. So notice you can feel through what your feet are doing, whether you're staying steady through the legs. Then come back to center, lift your chest. You can stay right there. Or you can fold over the right leg for a deeper forward fold and walk the hands back accordingly. Lift your chest forward. Come to stand. Step your foot forward, mountain pose, steady breath, steady gaze. And then we'll change sides, taking the right foot back, right toes turn out, ribs draw forward, a little lift through the chest, fold halfway, and then the hands will reach either to the floor or to the blocks, but you want to keep the spine and ribs really lengthening here and the left hip drawing back. Then we'll take that same little walkabout now to the left side, walking your fingers. You can take blocks with you for sure with this if you need them. Standing steady through the feet and the legs as you take this side bend. Coming on back to center, lift the chest. You can stay right there, or you can fold, walking the hands back as you draw your nose down towards your shin. Lifting your chest. Come to stand. Step your right foot up and stand mountain pose. Fold into Uttanasana. Grab your ankles. Draw your nose back towards your shins. Lift your chest and walk your feet back. Downward facing dog. Come forward to plank and come all the way down onto your belly and up into Sphinx pose. So one of the things I find increasingly when I do these big hikes is my lower back gets kind of cranky, and too much back bending feels not so great, not so stable. So I'm going to stay in a very moderate back bend here with Sphinx pose, just to feel the chest open. Then I'm going to come all the way down, cradle the hands at the back of my head, rest here for a moment, that when I go to lift, lifting the elbows, then lifting the head, and we'll do that a couple times, lift, come down. I'm really limited by how far I can bend. So I'm activating the muscles of the back without over bending. Lifting, lowering, lifting, lowering. Let's do that. And then next time you lift up, lift the feet as well and hold. And then release down, fold the palms, fold the wrists, rest your forehead. Using the hands under the shoulders, press your way back into extended child's pose. So knees fairly wide, big toes together, drop your forehead to the floor, keep the arms lifted. And then we'll take a side bend here as well, walking your hands over to the left. I like to keep my left hand closer to my body and really reach the right arm out and lean into the stretch along the right side. As long as it doesn't feel too intense, a nice way to, again, find some length out through the lower back, side of the lower back. Then walk your way back to the center, briefly keep your head lifted and transition over to the other side. Again, the right hand, right elbow is bent and close to my body. My left arm's reaching out into the side, leaning gently into the left side of the body. And then walk back to center. Come into tabletop, just holding steady here for a moment. This nice neutral spine. And then we're going to shift back into a squat. I've got my feet about hip distance apart, my hands out in front, and I'm letting my hips drop and I'm letting my head drop. And you can use blocks, you can use support under the heels, take what you need. And then lifting your head, rock forward again, and this time, if you can, bring the feet right together so that when you come back into the squat, again, you let the head drop, you let the hips drop. The knees, though they're wide, don't let them fall completely out to the side. So kind of draw them in a little bit towards your ribs. And then if you can, optional, you can walk the hands back from Malasana and either rest backs of the hands to the floor or catch a hold of the heels as you draw your head to or toward the floor. Lifting your head, walk your hands forward. Come back into neutral table. And then come to sit, Ardha Matsyendrasana. You can grab a blanket. Mine appears to be in use by my little friend here. Sit on the edge of a blanket if you've got one that isn't being used, and bring the right foot to the outside of your left knee for Ardha Matsyendrasana. Sit nice and tall as you hug the knee with the left elbow, right fingertips behind you, twist to the right. Keep both sit bones down on your blanket or the floor. And then come back to center. You can either bring the legs into Gomukhasana, stacking the right knee over the left and fold forward, or if that feels too intense in the knees, you can sit in simple cross legs and take a gentle forward bend here. Come up. Lean back to switch your legs. Right foot to the outside of the left knee. Both sit bones grounded. As you draw the knee in, hug the knee with your elbow. Left fingertips behind you. Lift and twist to the left, keeping both sit bones grounded. Turn back to center, either simple cross legs or Gomukhasana with the left knee stacked on top of the right. Again, both sit bones grounded if you take Gomukhasana, folding forward if that feels stable for you. And then lifting up, lean back, release the cross of the knees and bring the feet into Baddha Konasana. Just leave the hands behind you today and use the pressure of the fingertips to lift up out of the pose and press your feet together. Press the feet together. You can bring the hands a little closer to your body if that feels doable. Keep pressing the feet together as you lift and broaden your chest. Nice open chest. As you release, use your hands to bring your knees up, and we'll come onto our back. As you lie down onto your back, take a moment to let the back settle, and then hands alongside you, either pressing the palms into the floor. If your hands reach your heels, you can bring the hands to the inner heels to press the hands and arm bones out in Chatushpadasana. If that feels like it's too much, just bring the hands flat to the floor for bridge pose. Same shape with the rest of your body, lifting into bridge. We'll stay here and pause and breathe. And then releasing gently from bridge pose, come on down. And draw the knees in, wide apart, wide-legged Apanasana. You can stay right there, or you can take happy baby pose. If you take happy baby pose, shift one knee and then the other gently toward the floor, just rocking your hips a little from side to side before settling in and holding the pose, becoming a little more steady, a little more still. Then releasing knees together, knees to chest, Apanasana. And then we'll release the feet to the floors, knees bent, and just bring your hands to rest gently onto your belly or near your belly and your heart. Let your eyes close. And as you're here, my friends, ask yourself what it is you need at this moment. Is it rest? Is it shavasana? Is it a walk? Is it a nap? Is it a meal? Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.